Alright, this is a 2007 Prius, and I'm going to show you an example of how difficult it is on some of these newer cars. It's easy on old cars, but new cars it's literally nearly impossible. So here's the evaporator case that is located 7.5 hours to tear apart to get down into that dash inside there. I did this vehicle back in 2019 that we can see by my sticker right there. And I do have trace dye on it, and I suspected the evaporator of leaking at that time, but could not pick it up with the refrigerant leak detector. So it has lost its charge since then. It only had like 30 ounces left inside this, not ounces, 30 grams left inside the systems, which is roughly an ounce. Only enough to put like 40 psi on the pressure, or a couple psi. So been trying to find a way to use a borescope to find this one, because in some vehicles, like in American vehicles, here's your evaporator case. So here's the expansion valve, and in this case you get to see something you never get to see before. Look right here. Let's see. I'm gonna make this so we're going to look inside the evaporator core. So let me get that lined up there, and I'll go in and you'll look. So now, by looking at this screen, do you see those little rows with the bumps on it? Those are actually the evaporator core, and that's each one of the tubes, the refrigerant passage tubes, with all the little fins in it. We are now looking down the throat of the top header of the evaporator core. So let's pan back so you can get an idea. So there's the expansion valve, and the evaporator core goes in this direction. So that is located, here's your fresh air, or not your fresh air, here's your exhaust, your defrost vents that defrost your window. We're looking down right there. That is this vent right here. And when I move that, let's get that moved. Okay, so now I'm opening it, and with your eyes you can't really see the evaporator core. The evaporator core is located right there. Here's your dash vent right here. This is what comes out into your dash, into your face. So let me, there you go. See that right there? That is the evaporator core right there. Unfortunately, because of the ducting, I don't have a straight shot where I could get these down around the corner and look inside there. If I could, I would be able to get this down inside there, and you guys, or me as a technician, I would be able to see this. And so I could move this around until I would see a dark, dirty spot with a lot of dust on it or dye, and be able to visually condemn the evaporator. But I can't do that because on this one it is so freaking difficult. So I can't easily just put a hole somewhere in the case, because I have no access to put holes, like drill a little hole that I could plug up after. I cannot get down here to easily drill a hole, and you do not want to drill a hole in the bottom of the case where the water comes out. So this is your water outlet there. It doesn't go into the case where I could see oil on the bottom. Now sometimes if it's a big enough leak, the water that comes out here will take some of the oil with it, and if you have dye, when you shine your UV light at the drip tube at the bottom, you'll see it glowing at the edge. If it's glowing at the edge, you know your evaporator is leaking. So access to this thing, here's another access in the car. Okay, so here we are. Here's that case. There's the fan wheel. The fan is out of there. The case is located over there, stuck way back there. Access from underneath, access from the other side. To get a hole drilled to where I could send on this vehicle, I'm still playing and working with that scenario. I'm trying to find a place where I could safely drill a hole and be able to plug it up afterwards so I could do visual inspections. Now, here labor is really expensive to start taking things apart because we're in San Francisco, California, and at $170 to $200 plus an hour, depending on the shop, it starts getting really expensive really fast. Now, there is an access point right here, but you would have to have the fan motor out of there to get access to go this way. And if I could snake into here, this is the back side of the evaporator right here. So using this, let's see if I can get it in there. There we go. If I get this in the right direction, hold on, I gotta manipulate it so it's in there right. There we go. There you go. So now we're on the back side, and we're looking at the lower part of the header. So anything that drips down, this would be all black and greasy from oil, and or it'd be glowing or have the yellow from the dye, and I would be able to see. You could see the core. You see those fins there? So that's all clean there, and you know you can kind of see it right there, the visual. But unfortunately, in real life, you don't have access to none of that. On some cars, you can take off a resistor module. On some vehicles that are the old school ones that would have those resistor modules, and you can take them out of the ducting and get access, and you can drill holes. But the Prius is just too difficult to get to for a visual inspection. And I'm pretty sure on this one, if I could get a visual, I can condemn it, and then I could take a picture of it, because this takes pictures, and I'd send that to the invoice, and it would go to the customer, and I could say, see, I couldn't pick it up using UV dye because we have no visual, but now I have a visual, and the leak was too small, and most likely it's only leaking at a specific temperature, vibration, or pressure, and doesn't leak stagnant sitting in a garage. It passes nitrogen test. It passes vacuum decay test twice, and like I told them before, I know it's an evaporator right now. Money is tight, everybody's out of jobs, and nobody's sure about their jobs right now, so no one's gonna opt for, you know, a $1,500, $1,200 evaporator job to do that, because here in San Francisco, your mechanical labor rate hours are $170, $230. If you go to a dealer, $280 an hour, and that's 7.5 hour job, plus the cost of the evaporator core. So we're filling this one up. Know he's going to be coming back, and what we're waiting for 100% confirmation, either the evaporator core leaks to the point where the electronic leak detector can pick it up, or it leaks to the point where some of the dye travels out with the oil on the water, and it comes out the bottom of the drip tube here, which in this car, the bottom of the drip tube, let's see, bottom of the drip tube, well, I'm sorry, can't get my phone up there, but you could see it from under here with my eyes, and I could see the bottom of the drip tube, and I could get my UV light on it, and it doesn't glow. So those are little indicators that sometimes help you out. Well, I hope this had some education value to you on how difficult it is to get to some cars' evaporators, even when you have an example sitting right in front of you, and you can play with it using a borescope to try to figure out in real life where you can drill holes at without taking too much time, because time is money. And in a scenario like this, where I'm willing to lay down $100 to say it's the evaporator, even though I can't pick it up with any refrigerant leak detector, because the customer has not come in at a time when this leak wants to be friendly. See, I was thinking I would really like to play around with drilling a hole somewhere right about here. Right here, I think it is. Let me go look back out there. So coming back here, this is where the module is located right there. And if I drill the hole right there, I could actually see, I could see my shadow right there. That looks good. It's not down low. See, way down low? Okay, let me get down there. You see my finger shadow moving there? If you got access there, but you drilled hole, this is where water comes out at. That fills up with water, and you would not want to drill from the bottom of the case because you might have a failure of whatever kind of plugging device you have. It would leak on their carpet, under the carpet, and cause mildew and mold, and you would have, have an upset customer. If you did drill a hole, you want to damage nothing mechanical, and you want to do it in an area where you can patch it up and no water comes out. So this looks like my best candidate. I'm gonna play with that at a later date, but this is gonna get recharged for now. And I think I found finally my area I want to experiment with drilling a hole, and then I could stick my borescope in here and I could get a look at the case. So I'm gonna play with this on this year make model Prius, since I literally do hundreds of Priuses here in San Francisco. Priuses are like cockroach in a dirty kitchen. They're all over the place, and it pays to learn different diagnosis procedures and things that are not in the book that can better aid you in diagnosis to help your customer for condemning very expensive parts without misdiagnosing. And that's about it. Catch you on the next video, guys. See you later. Yep.